Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Afternoons with the Ambassador. And as always, I am your host, the Ambassadors. And today we're going to be discussing the future of Marvel and DC. And with me today, I've got a brand new guest, Everything Mongo's Big Think, and I've got a returning guest, Gitter92. Gentlemen,
Hey everyone.
good afternoon. Good to see you. And thank
you
you both for joining me today. And to the chat, the Truth31, good afternoon, my friend. Good to see you. I actually caught part of your stream earlier and everything, talk about DC fandom. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit today. But glad that you are here. So, yeah, we've gotten a lot of news over the last several months about the future of Marvel and DC and everything, and today we're gonna dive into this. We're gonna talk about the good. We're gonna talk about what's coming up in terms of these two very popular franchises and everything, and just kind of give our thoughts on what we're hoping to see and everything that's gonna be coming down the pipe over the next several months and everything in terms of the MCU and the DCEU. So, fellas, I open the floor. Where would you like to begin?
Yeah. I mean, I'm more of a DC guy. Yeah, I'm drawn more to the. It's funny because it's when it comes to Marvel and DC, it's always the obscure characters that not many know about that I'm always drawn to, or sidekicks, or so it's a bit of fun thing going there. But I'm more of DC. I like some of Marvel. They have some good things, mostly the '90s catalog.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's an unpopular opinion, but I think when it comes to Marvel, I think that Ben Reilly is my Spider-Man because I like.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
Well, being someone who hasn't really read a whole lot of Spider-Man since like the 90s, for me, Todd McFarlane, he was my guy when it came to Spider-Man and what have you. Now, I will say this much for the current iteration of Spider-Man in terms of Tom Holland, the theatrical Spider-Man, I have been happy. I don't hold any grudge or anything towards Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. I thought they both brought something very good to the character of Peter Parker / Spider-Man. But honestly, I have really liked Tom Holland's turn as as Spider-Man, and I don't really have any beef with him and everything. I think he's done a good job. I think he's brought a lot of passion and enthusiasm to his role as Peter Parker. And honestly, just from my perspective, I find his portrayal maybe a little more relatable. And I think maybe a little more, I think in a lot of ways, he's really much interjected his own personality and everything into his portrayal of Spider-Man. And very quickly to the chat, Chubby Teddy Monster Productions. Chubby Teddy, good to see you. Glad you could stop by. I recognize you from Mad Max's neck of the woods, so glad you could pop. And, Chubby Teddy brings up a good point. It's not completely off topic. The 90s Marvel, the X-Men, Spider-Man, of that time, they were great. I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Now, the 80s for X-Men and Spider-Man, they were a good decade as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But, looking forward and to the chat, the truth and everything, he says Tom Holland's Spider-Man is more accurate to the comics. I would say that that's really accurate. Not to mention, he looks the part a lot more. He is of that time. He is of that age range for Peter Parker. Now, that's not to say that either of the other guys that have done it with Tobey Maguire or
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, that they didn't necessarily portray the part well, but they didn't really look the part that closely. They looked like an older version of Peter Parker, like a college age version. But at the same time, it's called suspension of disbelief. So
exactly. In my case, Garfield is my guy, but I do realize that he is better Spider-Man than he is a better Peter Parker. I do realize that.
Mm-hmm.
I can really appreciate the vulnerability that Tom Holland brings, because I mean, obviously he's a kid and he's younger in appearance, of course, but there's really great just vulnerable moments in the first movie and then in the second movie, Far From Home. Those are some really cool stuff, and I really appreciate the emotional stuff. And of course, everyone sometimes, people kind of meme on the Tobey Maguire's crying face, but I really that's something I liked a little more with Holland. It was a little more like, that's how kids, high school kids act. They act like that.
And to the chat, Monkey Nut Punch. Good to see you, my friend, and everything. Fairly new subscriber to the channel. These guys and everything are from, well, as I say, across the pond and everything. And I've checked out some of their content and everything. They've got a good channel, folks. So I suggest and everything, if you haven't had an opportunity, go look them up and give them a subscribe and everything. They do some good commentary on both, well, as I like to call it, modern and retro pop culture. So check them out. And I can understand where you're coming from, Monkey Nut and everything. Tom Holland Spider-Man. The thing with that one is, I think they're giving him an opportunity to grow into the role, kind of make it his own. So I can understand that criticism and I can respect it. So, but I know there's been a lot of seesawing back and forth about the MCU. Monkey Nut Punch, I would agree with that. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is closest to a Spider-Man. Yeah, I would agree with that and everything, even though. So, but kind of getting back on track here. I know there's been a lot of seesawing back and forth about the MCU, particularly with the first three phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I, for one, have seen it as a net benefit. I've seen it as something that has been very positive, something that has been, I think, good for comic book fans and just people who are fans of good movies. Regardless of what Martin Scorsese has to say, and quite frankly, who gives a damn what Martin Scorsese has to say, to be perfectly candid. I think
question.
Because the guy does monster movies. What the hell does he know about comic book movies? Martin Scorsese, the day you do a comic book movie, then I'll give your opinions a little more credence. Until then, you can take your opinion and shove it. But we've got, hopefully within the next month or so, we've got a whole run of new MCU shows coming up on Disney Plus. We've got WandaVision, we've got Winter Soldier and the Hawk. For crying out loud, Winter Soldier and it's not Hawkeye. No, it's Falcon. Yeah. And we've got Loki's show coming up. We've got the What If and everything, which is kind of a spinoff from the What If comic series that was done back in, I think, like the 80s and 90s. So, guys, are there any of those shows that really catch your eye? Do some of them are like, I think I'll pass on that, or are there ones that you are looking forward to?
I gotta say, if Marvel would announce like, oh hey, speaker of the if anything, I'd be the only thing that I'd be really excited for would be if they announced something that I was really passionate about, like New Warriors. And yes, I'm talking about the real New Warriors, not the one that we got now. that those doesn't exist in my book. Whatever.
Yes.
But like I would be more enthusiastic because
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like they haven't given us a lot, and that I feel is a kind of a problem with Marvel. We haven't been given a lot to be excited about. That's my main gripe. Gripe.
Yeah, and honestly, I can agree with that and everything in a lot of ways. Mongo, anything you want to comment on so far?
Now, there's definitely some things. I guess I would be interested in, seeing what the Falcon or the Winter Soldier, what that series is like. But seeing some of the promo shots, like for like WandaVision, like they had like just some. It just seemed kind of weird to me. I mean, I've never really read the comics in depth to any degree. I think the most I've ever read was I got a few Spider-Man comics in the mail back when I was in like middle school, but that's about it. So a lot of the stuff I'm like, I don't know, but if it's on Disney Plus, then I'll definitely at least watch the first couple episodes, I guess. But yeah,
I agree.
And I'm kind of the same way. And Monkey Nut Punch brings up a good point. He feels a bit underwhelmed with the Marvel stuff. I can understand it because we haven't really gotten a whole lot of information on what these shows are going to entail. We've gotten some promotional stuff and everything. We've gotten like thumbnails for the title of the show, but we haven't gotten much else. So I know they're having to be cautious with the whole mess with the bug that's going around and everything. Yeah. But if they could release at least maybe like a sizzle reel or something like that.
Yeah.
Showing production and everything of each show, or just do one for all the shows, I'd be happy with that. I would be a lot more enthusiastic. Now, to kind of contrast from that, we have gotten a lot of information coming out of DC and everything about projects that are coming up.
Yeah.
And and just too quickly to the chat, Monkey Nut Punch, how do I feel about the CW DC stuff? I don't watch it. It's not that I am like have a negative opinion of it. I just simply don't watch it because I don't have the time and everything. So, and to the truth and everything, 31, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse. Honestly, that is the one thing that I'm very interested in because of all the new characters and everything, that were introduced in the first several phases of the MCU, Doctor Strange by far was one of my favorites. When they announced Benedict Cumberbatch would be playing Stephen Strange, I was like, yes. I know he got a lot of flack, and I know he got a lot of grief for his turn as Khan in Into Darkness. He's done some good stuff since then. I've seen him in Sherlock. Obviously, he did the voice for Smaug in the Hobbit movies. Yeah. This guy has a good acting pedigree. He's a good actor, and I thought he brought a good seriousness and I felt he brought a very good vibe to Stephen Strange in his portrayal. I enjoyed.
You remember that he? Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, you did. Go ahead.
Do you remember? Actually, he also did the. What's it called? The Andy Serkis Lion. Lion book.
Oh, the Mowgli. Jungle Book?
Exactly.
That was really good.
He did the voice for that. He did do the voice for Shere Khan, didn't he? I never got a chance to see that.
Oh, great movie right there.
I can say it like this. I had to. It was kind of a traumatic experience because of all the dark elements. I had to be like, I gotta do something else. Just get my mind on other things, but I'm very sensitive to dark themes, and so it's
and I can understand that.
Yeah.
So, but getting back on track here, we have gotten a lot of stuff coming out about projects coming out for the DCEU. We're obviously getting the Snyder Cut, which I know a lot of people were fighting tooth and nail for, and I'll be 100% upfront visibility. I was neither for nor against the Snyder Cut. I didn't see the Justice League movie, just for the simple fact it didn't really intrigue me. But after I heard everything that I heard, I was like, yeah, I'm turned off. I'm very much turned off. But being there has been such a fan outpouring for the Snyder Cut of Justice League, I will watch it. I will give it a fair hearing, and I will give it a fair shake. Because here's the thing. The majority of my life, and some of you may know this, some of you may not, I am a Marvel guy. But I did read DC. I did read DC on a limited basis. I read like Batman and everything. That was the main one I did read. I did pick up some of the miniseries that they did back like in the 90s. I know they did a Marvel versus DC crossover back, I think it was in like the mid 90s or somewhere along in there.
Yeah, Ron Mars and that.
Yeah. I also, there was another series that very much stuck in my mind. It was called War of the Gods and everything. It pitted the DC heroes and villains against like the pantheon of like Greek and Roman gods, and that was like a really cool series that they did. And you had it was a really cool series. I need to I need to find the trade paperback if I can. So, and
you got me hooked on it now. So,
so it was a really cool mini series they did. I think it was like a 6-parter or so.
Oh, okay.
And very quickly to the chat, Mac World Entertainment, greetings, my friend. Good to see you. And also Speaker for the Dead and Chris Persia. If I didn't say howdy to y'all, howdy. Good to see you all as always. I appreciate it. So, but I am very much a comic book fan. I love comics, regardless if it's DC or Marvel. So when we got not Disney Plus, we have Disney Plus. When we got HBO Max, I went through their catalog and I realized, hey, they've got stuff on here. One of the big reasons we did get HBO Max was because of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
because I want to check this out. I like Zack Snyder's films. By and large, every movie that he has done, I have seen. The only one I didn't see was Batman versus Superman. But hearing what I have heard in the aftermath of that, I recently found in a bargain bin at Walmart the Ultimate Edition. So I'm going to give that a watch. I might even do a review of it, because I have heard that is much more accurate version of Snyder's vision for that movie. I actually, I used to have the director's cut of Watchmen because I went and saw it in theaters. And I'll say this: if Snyder's going to be a major part of the DCEU, I'm all in. I am 100% in, because the guy knows his stuff. I liked Man of Steel. Like I said, I'll eventually watch the other one and everything, Batman versus Superman, but I'll wait for his version of Justice League. Because from what I've seen, when they released that like that teaser trailer of the Snyder Cut and it showed Darkseid, I was like, that's Darkseid.
Oh yeah,
that's an accurate depiction of Darkseid. So, but I have heard, and I don't know if you guys have heard this as well, but they're supposedly going to be bringing all the CW shows over onto HBO Max, just to kind of get everything under one umbrella.
Huh.
So
I heard.
Do you think there might be a change in quality if they do make that move? Do you think the shows might improve, or do you think they might do a reboot on those shows, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I've been following CW. I watched Flash, until maybe season 6 or something like that. And Arrow I watched all through, and They began very well, but the quality has not been good. It's been going downhill. Yeah, and I really hope so. For me, I really hope that they either get rebooted or if they actually get better in quality. Because I was watching an episode of Flash pretty recently, and I was like, "What? What are you doing?" You know, I was like, "Yeah, it's bad. It's bad." But I'm hoping for better quality. Really.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I feel like they'd probably just maybe inject a little bit more funds into that. I would hope, just like you were saying. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. I could see it going either way, kind of, but it'll be interesting to see. Be interesting to see what happens there.
For sure.
And let's see, who was it that said it? Newbie Comics brought this up, and he's like, I've been let down over and over with DC films outside of Christian Bale's Batman, and that I'm not going to get overly excited. And you know what? I think that's fair. That is fair, because if you oftentimes we get caught up in the hype and the anticipation of a project or something that's going to be coming out, and we sometimes lose objectivity on it and everything, saying, well, this is just going to be this is going to be a pile of garbage, or it's going to be a dumpster fire. Now, sometimes that is very appropriate. It's true. But oftentimes we lose objectivity and we don't give things a fair shake and everything before they even hit the screen. So that's why I oftentimes take a wait and see perspective on it, because there are people out there who are saying reject the Snyder cut, and I won't bring up the other phrase or anything here.
We know them.
Yes. And I don't want to get off on a tangent on that. That's not what this stream's about.
No.
That's
a whole other video.
Yeah, that's the video that other people are tackling, and
exactly.
I support them, and everything. I support them calling out BS where they see it. And the thing I am hopeful for anything with the DCEU and the MCU is some good, healthy competition.
Yes,
I would love to see the DCEU give the MCU a run for their money, because here's the thing: when you get good competition between two big franchises, that requires both sides to up their game.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm hoping for. And I think that's what everybody is hoping for is, if the MCU shows on Disney Plus do well, that's going to require HBO and Warner, obviously they're and AT&T, to say, we're going to need to put some money into these shows, people, if we're going to compete with Disney Plus and their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course, if these next run of movies and everything from the DCEU do well, in particular with, I think it's going to be a one-off in terms of the next Suicide Squad by James Gunn. But if that does well, that's going to require Marvel and everything to up their game. So that's why I'm saying Warner, AT&T, back these projects. Give us good stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't give us crap.
No, exactly.
Well, I don't know what your fellows' age ranges are, but I remember a time when before there was mainly it was just there was the comics. There were no TV shows, whether they were animated or live action. The 90s were was really when you had that big kickoff and everything of animated series or animated movies and everything forming either Marvel or DC. And very quickly to the chat, I think it was I think it was Monkey Nut Punch who asked me about what my feelings were on Sucker Punch. Yeah, it was Monkey Nut Punch. Monkey Nut Punch, I have actually never seen Sucker Punch, but I am eventually going to give it a watch because I think it is on HBO Max, and if it isn't, I'll find it. So
yeah.
Well, and Newbie Comics, he brings up a good point. Or anything. What I want to see from DC, Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze done well. Yes,
Definitely.
Yes.
That
would be great.
Yeah.
Well, and Mongo, let me ask you this and everything. This is a theory that has been running around and everything, or it's a theory that I have. How would you feel if they did like an anthology series along the same vein of Joker, where they do like origin stories or one-offs of like the DC villains, in particular Batman's Rogues Gallery? And Gitter, you can chime in with your thoughts as well.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, honestly, I thought to myself the other day, like, if I would be a director, I would probably be like, taking the weirder projects, the obscure projects. So this seems a bit weird, weird to me, and I kind of like it. I would absolutely. I think there's a lot of depth to the characters, really, with both Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. There's a lot to explore there, so I think I'd be on board for it, definitely. I haven't seen, to be honest, I haven't seen Joker, but that is just because it's not a movie that I would be feeling emotionally well after seeing. So that's a personal taste of mine. But I'd be for it. I'd be for it, definitely.
That's totally understandable. When I saw Joker, I enjoyed watching the movie, but when reflecting on it, I just thought this is very dark. I don't feel like good watching this descent into madness, I guess, this sad story essentially. But I guess on the topic of like standalone movies, I would be pretty down for a Bane movie. I really enjoy that character. I would love to see him. I thought The Dark Knight Rises was good. It was solid for me. Yes. There were some parts where I'm like, okay, here and there. I'd love to see some Bane. I wouldn't mind seeing like, of course, like Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. I'm not quite as well versed in those, but I think with the upcoming Suicide Squad movie, when that comes out, I think you have a really good chance of really drumming up interest in these people again. The original or the previous Suicide Squad movie from 2016, that was, I thought it was all right. There was some things I was like, okay, that was weird. Interesting choice. I was not a fan of Killer Croc in that movie. I love the actor, but the actual costume and makeup that they gave him, I was like, I want to see like a big crocodile dude. I want to see, that kind of stuff. But
when it comes to Killer Croc, sorry, I just gotta say this.
No
when it comes to Killer Croc in the Suicide Squad movie, they forgot the killer part.
Yes.
Yeah. You just gave us the Croc.
Well, the one that I very much am pushing for is Mr. Freeze. Because of all of Batman's Rogues Gallery, and he has an awesome Rogues Gallery, I think there's an opportunity there. And Mongo, to kind of and Peter, to kind of backtrack on or not backtrack, but to follow up on what you said. I can understand what you were saying about the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix and everything. It is a very dark, it is a very heavy movie and everything, and it kind of makes you feel kind of uncomfortable and everything. It's at points, and especially towards the end. So I get that. For me, honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can understand why it made $1 billion in the U.S. And I'm kind of on the fence about them doing a sequel to it, because where do you go with a story that heavy? I mean, don't get me wrong. Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, they did a bang up job on that film. But I'm worried that they may be going to the well one time too many. I would much rather see an anti-hero story for Mr. Freeze, because there's a story right there that is very much anti-hero. Now, is Mr. Freeze is he a villain? Yes, but he's a semi-sympathetic villain, because here's the thing. If you remember Freeze's backstory, he was a scientist working for a large corporation and he was working on developing cryogenic technology to help people that had very serious illnesses that did not have a cure, particularly his wife, Nora Freeze. And unfortunately, if you remember his backstory, he gets caught in an accident because of the negligence or whatever and everything of that employer. So I would be interested to see a live action version of that. I know we got a little bit of his backstory in the 90s animated series with Batman.
Oh yeah.
I think you could go I think you could go a lot further with that story if you just focused on Victor Freeze himself.
Yeah. And Nora was actually introduced the first time in the Batman animated series.
Yeah. Actually. Well, yeah, because if you remember the other version of Mr. Freeze that we had from the Adam West show, it was played purely for comedy. Obviously, it was very campy, very cheesy. It was 1960s, so that's to be expected. The Mr. Freeze we got in the cartoon, the animated series, was good. I don't care for I will never care for Schwarzenegger's portrayal of Freeze. It was done completely wrong. So,
I need you.
Yeah, that one
killed the dinosaurs.
The Ice Age.
Oh, goodness.
I gotta say this for his Mr. Freeze. It has given us a lot of fun.
Oh yes, I always love the memes. You know, all the
I will agree with that. I will wholeheartedly agree with that. And very quick to the chat, Project Storytime and Superior Hero Reviews, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good to see you. Thank you for popping by. And Project Storytime, yes, I'm gonna bring his comment up here. Well, if it doesn't keep jumping on me, dang. Joker was brilliant. No sequel needed. I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Wholeheartedly.
I mean, I haven't really seen the movie, but I do realize that this is such a special take on this that you don't have the need for a sequel.
Yeah, no need to dilute what you already have, you know, exactly. More of the same or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, that's the truth brings up a very interesting idea. A miniseries focusing on Mr. Freeze's downfall.
That's a good idea.
I'd be down for
that. That would be an interesting route to go if they wanted to do something like that. If they wanted to do like an anthology series on the different rogues gallery, well, of the different characters within Batman's rogues gallery, and what have you. Now, to kind of get in our Wayback Machine a little bit here. What did you two, if you had a chance to watch it, what did you think of Smallville?
Never seen it. I've never seen it.
Okay. I can go then. Well, you know, I'm actually, to answer your question, I am actually 28 years old.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a 90s kid. So I actually, when Smallville was on, okay. Kids, I'm talking about like the original seasons. I know it went on for a very long time, but
10 seasons. Yeah,
exactly. So I was there when it happened. But I mean, you know, as a kid, I liked it. You know, it was okay. It was very scary at many times. It was very, as a kid, you had like, there were times where you were like, you didn't, you know, bear to watch it because it was kind of scary at the same time. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm not a big Smallville fan, but yeah, I thought it was okay. I think Lois and Clark was more my jam, really.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay, and Newbie Comics brings up this question: what are your thoughts on DC doing a toddler movie, but like they did with Joaquin Phoenix? Could they show could show a really dark version of the character? Sorry, Newbie, your comment was kind of hard to read.
Yeah,
Nothing personal. I think what he's trying to say is, Riddler.
Riddler.
Okay.
Okay. I was like,
okay.
toddler.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
That
I
makes
thought
sense.
it was like Todd Phillips that he was, try slanging it.
I was thinking like, like the Flintstone kids. No, I was kidding.
Okay.
The Joker
like
kid. Okay. No.
Okay.
That honestly, that could be interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I would not.
That'd be
I would
pretty
not.
cool.
I would by no means be opposed to them doing something with the Riddler. Like I said, any one of the, and you know what, you don't even have to necessarily relegate it to Batman's Rogues Gallery. Although his Rogues Gallery, I think, is one of the more interesting and one of the more diverse of the DC heroes. But you could do something for Superman's Rogues Gallery.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Although we did get the
sorry.
No, go ahead, Gitter. Go ahead, please.
And even also, if you look at the Flash, he has some interesting villains like Mirror Master and Reverse Flash. There's themes to explore there as well. At least with Reverse Flash, at least.
Yeah.
There's many depths and layers there.
Yeah. Well, and one of the really outstanding entries into DCEU obviously was Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot.
Oh yeah,
or Gal Gadot.
I love that.
And I'll be the first to admit it. I didn't want to go see this in theaters. Madman Baxter and some of our friends were like, let's go see. I was like, I'm not interested. It's Wonder Woman. It's not that particularly interesting of a character to me. And then I finally knuckled under, so to speak. I was like, you know what? Okay, I will give this a chance. And everything. We got it on Blu-ray secondhand. And honestly, I watched it. I was like, now that's a Wonder Woman I can be enthused about. And when they announced that the sequel was going to take place in 1984, I was like, thank you, my childhood. Yes! And I have been so severely bummed because it keeps getting pushed back and keeps getting delayed. And yes, I know why, and yada, yada, yada. But give me my freaking Wonder Woman 84 movie. I want my 80s fix.
Yeah, I want to see it too.
And that solid suit of gold armor that she had, I was like,
oh yeah,
damn, that's cool. That is
very
cool.
Flash Gordon.
It kind of is. It kind of is, and everything, just a little bit. So
yeah, a bit. Yeah. But it's cool. It's really cool.
Oh, and Truth and everything brings up. The Matt Reeves Batman will feature Paul Dano as the Riddler. It's going to be a much darker take on the character. I think that's a good move. I do. I think that's a very.
You give me Long Halloween as a inspiration.
Don't get me started on the Long Halloween. I love that story. I have the trade paperback of it. So yeah, I do. I got it a number of years ago and everything, and it's been a part of my collection ever since then. So
I love it. So good. Dark Victory, not as good, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, Mongo, let me ask you, of everything that either franchise has got coming up, either Marvel or DC, what's something that has really got you excited? What's something that you're really looking forward to or have high hopes for?
Well, it's probably starting with Marvel. I'm really looking forward to obviously the next installment of Guardians of the Galaxy, whenever that comes out. It's going to be a while, but at least as far as I can see. But I am interested in Morbius. Seeing the trailer, I'm like, okay,
thank you.
There's some stuff there. I'm like, I want to see this. I remember him from the cartoon where he had freaking like suckers on his hands, and he was like, I was like, oh, it was like, obviously I remember him because he scared the crud out of me.
Oh,
like, okay, I'm totally gonna watch this when it comes out.
I had to turn it off.
Never bothered me, but then I'm a horror movie guy. But go ahead, Monka.
Oh, okay. I'm not.
So there's definitely that. Let's see. I remember just some announcements here and there, like the New Mutants. When that eventually comes out, after however long it's been, I want to at least see it once to see how it, if it's actually worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it's like a morbid curiosity. It's like, I want to see it. It's like all that kind of
Afternoon.
stuff.
Yeah, honestly, New Mutants, I've been like, give me this freaking movie. When I saw the trailer for it and everything back a couple years ago, I was like, okay, you've got me hooked. Give me the movie. Here's my money. I will give you my money. Give me this movie because I love the New Mutants.
Yeah, me too.
And now, stupid virus.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, people are like, oh, Wolverine and all those, the original. But I'm like, no, New Mutants is my X-Men, That's my thing. I love it. Yeah.
Well, and you've got a good core group of the original team. You've got Wolfsbane played by Maisie Williams. You've got Sunspot. You've got Illyana Rasputin. Now I don't know if they'll keep that continuity where it'll be Colossus' sister, because for those of you who remember, or those of you who may not know, Illyana Rasputin Magic is actually Colossus's sister. So,
she's awesome.
She is, and from the look of the trailer, she is gonna be badass as all hell.
Yeah, when she was cast, I was like, "That's perfect choice."
Yeah,
I just needed
whoever that actress is.
I was like,
perfect, right, spot on, right on the money. Yeah. Give me my freaking New Mutants movie.
Yeah,
give it to me now. Man. So, but and of course, we got a look at, as the truth brought up, the Matt Reeves as Batman with Robert Pattinson. And, truth. Thank you for reminding me of that. I almost forgot and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. I have not had a chance to see the first one. I'm eventually going to pick it up on Blu-ray and everything. Again, that's probably when I'll get secondhand or whatever, because I heard about Venom with Tom Hardy. I was like, I saw clips of it. I was like, I could get behind this, because I remember when they did I don't know how long the series ran or not, but they did back in the 90s a run on it was called Venom Lethal Protector, where they did him kind of as an hero. So I was all for a solo Venom movie, and if they bring Holland Spider-Man into it, fine. If they don't, fine. I don't care. And very quick to the chat over easy mode. Good to see you, bud, and everything. Glad you're finally getting your channel up and running, my friend. So everything. Looking forward to what you got for us. And Macworld Entertainment brings this up and everything. He's like, I kind of want to see New Mutants as well. I think in a lot of ways, New Mutants could be like a sleeper hit, kind of like Guardians Volume 1 was. I think it could be. I think it has the potential. It could be a sleeper hit, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was. So, hey, Mongo, back to picking up on something you said. In terms of Guardians Volume 3. they fought like hell to get James Gunn back, and I'm glad that he is back.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see him going forward with his vision for Guardians Volume 3. And you know what? I'll say this. I don't give two hoots in hell what the guy said on Twitter 10 or 12 or however long ago it was.
No.
It was cancel culture. It was a bunch of limp-wristed, mamby-pamby sissy boys and girls or anything who got their fifis offended. It's Twitter. Yeah, guess what? Twitter is not real life.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Twitter is not real life. Believe it or not. So, and well, you know, and Speaker for the Dead, he brings up Robert Pattinson says, Batman not looking forward to that. I understand some people have got a bias against Pattinson because of another franchise that he was a part of. Personally, I like the other franchise that he was a part of. Everything, and I can credit that to my love of Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I love that show.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Pattinson does with his turn as Batman. I mean, for heaven's sakes,
you can pretty much guarantee he's not going to be a pretty boy in this, Batman movie. I'm like, he's going to be pretty gritty. He's going to be pretty.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm like,
I am wholeheartedly. I am completely fine with that. I'll just say this: I'm throwing a smidgen of shade. He's got to be better than Clooney.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
He's got to be better than Clooney. So, but honestly, I think for all of us that are fans of comics and everything, the comic book universe, whether it's Marvel or DC, I think we got a lot to look forward to. I think
definitely,
regardless of whether you're Camp DC or Camp Marvel, or if maybe you're both. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there that has a lot of potential to bring us good entertainment, to give us good stories, to kind of expand upon these characters that we have known and loved and been fans of for umpteen dozen years.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping for a Batman Beyond movie. I am so down.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up have either one of you seen any of the direct-to-video animated movies that DC has put out over the last several years?
Yeah, quite of them actually. Yeah.
What? Just out of curiosity, what are some of your favorites, if you can recall them? Any of them?
For me, it's Under the Red Hood, Justice League War, and
I actually recently got that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really good. I think you'll like it. And
I just watched it not too long ago. Yeah, I liked it. And it's on HBO Max. It's actually on HBO Max. HBO Max has got just about all of the, within the last 5 or so years, anime movies that DC has put out.
Yeah.
So
and my third choice, because I'm a huge Aquaman fan, and if I had a wish, I'd be Aquaman. All my family knows it.
Now, question: which one, retro or Momoa Aquaman?
I mean, to be honest, I'm not totally on board with Aquaman Momoa. I'm not totally on board, but I see there's a possibility to grow. But I wasn't a big fan of his movie, so I guess I prefer more Jeff Johns' New 52 Aquaman. I have love for all of the editions, really, of Aquaman. Not the recent comic one with Kelly Sue, but that's another rant. I can go on and on. But yeah, I prefer the retro.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Hey.
Yeah, so my third is, of course, Aquaman, Throne of Atlantis.
I actually noticed that it was on HBO Max. I might give that. I might check that out. Mongo, what about you? Has there any of those DC anime movies that have really caught your eye that you enjoyed or whatever?
The ones that come to mind are, of course, Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, this was one came out in 2005, The Batman versus Dracula. I really liked watching that one.
That
That was
I remember that
pretty cool. It was like very very dark. I loved that. I liked the animation of that cartoon as well. And then I also liked Superman Doomsday. That was a fun movie to watch
that was
too.
A good one.
Yes.
That was a good one too.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I think that was about the closest animated adaptation of Superman, the Death of Superman that we got.
Yeah.
And honestly, I did enjoy that. I mean, they did really recreate that final panel with Lois Lane holding Superman and everything, and she's just absolutely distraught. And of course, you have the cape on that pole and everything. It's all tattered and torn and everything, and everybody's just like, that panel just rips your heart out.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Ooh.
It's really art. You could paint a picture and put it on like a wall. It would be it's amazing.
The Truth brings up a good one. I just recently watched this myself, the Dark Knight Returns animated film and everything. And they actually, I think it was a two-parter. Or at least they split it up into a two-parter for HBO Max. I never read the trade. I haven't read the trade paperback, but I loved the movie. They split it up into two parts and everything, and they did very, very well. Because I do remember certain parts of. I looked at it, but I never actually read it and everything. But I remember certain panels and certain parts and everything of the Dark Knight Returns and everything. And the animated film was spot on. It really was. So if you have Max, HBO Max, or you can get your hands on a copy of Dark Knight Returns film, I would suggest watching it. And Speaker for the Dead brings up a good one, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes.
That's back in the days of the 90s cartoon.
Oh yeah. And it actually was a theatrical release also.
It was, yeah. I remember that and everything. Didn't get a chance to see it and everything, but yeah, I do remember that. So, and folks, if you have the means, if you have it within your means to get HBO Max, I suggest doing so because it has an absolutely massive catalog of stuff on there that you can watch. And I'm not just talking about if you're a DC fan and everything, but they got contracts with Crunchyroll if you love anime. They've got a contract with Turner Classic Movies if you love classic movies. They've got a lot of old black and whites and a lot of old silent films and so on. Some obscure stuff. They've got like stuff from the 47 Ronin, the old black and white ones. They've got Hanzo and the Razor. I think it's a Hattori Hanzo. Everything played by Sonny Chiba. Everything. They've got all sorts of stuff on HBO Max. So if you would love old, and they've got modern stuff too, obviously on there as well. They've got their stuff. They made a deal with Adult Swim. They've got a lot of stuff from there. They've got Robot Chicken. If you love stuff like that, if you like to laugh, I would suggest if you can get HBO Max, do so. Because not just because the Snyder Cut's gonna be coming out next year, but just because they have a good catalog of pretty much anything and everything under the sun and everything. If you're bored on a Saturday afternoon, you can't find something to watch, and you can hop on there. You'll find something. I mean,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I just hope that it comes to Sweden because you guys have so much that's like. It never comes to Sweden.
Give it time. Give it time. I'm sure anything. I don't know who you could get a hold of, but do so.
Yeah.
And of course, obviously you've got a lot of Marvel stuff over on Disney Plus, obviously. You've almost got the duel of the two comic book franchises. You've got Warner with HBO Max and DC, and you've got Disney Plus with Marvel, and they've got a lot of Marvel content on there. So, and Oh,
We
Truth
haven't
Bringer.
gotten Disney Plus here in Sweden, so
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
dang.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They said that it's dropping summer or something. I heard my sister say it, but
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up here. We're coming up on an hour, and guys, I appreciate both of you coming on. And Mongo, glad to have you on. Glad we could connect through Fandom Collective and everything. And Gitter, glad to have you on as well. Gitter, Mongo, is there anything? Gitter, I can't remember if you have a channel or not or anything, but if you have anything.
I do have a YouTube channel. It's just if you want to have like obscure songs like 80s stuff, I make a lot of playlists. So if you're looking for a lot of good music, that you can check me out. Subscribe.
Right.
So, but I don't do video.
You don't do regular content.
No, I don't. I'm just a watcher.
Not everybody has the time.
Yeah.
Everybody has the time. So, Mongo, anything that you want to plug before we sign off?
Oh yeah. So I guess again, really just thanks. I mean, it's been a very delightful stream. I guess every Monday, at least for right now, I just go on to YouTube. I just do a little stream. I just call it something simple like Monstrous News with Mongo. It's nothing crazy. I just follow a few different Twitter pages and a few different websites on kaiju, giant monster stuff. I kind of just share a little bit of news, give a little bit of commentary here and there on just some stuff that I see. I always keep it to around a half hour just because usually it's just me talking to myself, which, ain't a problem for me. I do it all the time. But other than that.
So it's kind of you cover like Toku stuff or
Oh, well, yeah, I've been trying to read and watch some more things. I think last week I just watched Neon Genesis Evangelion for the first time. I watched that on Netflix. I watched the End of Evangelion. Watched that movie on Netflix. I've been trying to get to watch Ultraman. I've only watched maybe the first 8 episodes.
I love Ultraman.
That one.
Well, actually, Mongo, just real quick. And this is not me plugging HBO Max, but they have a lot of the Toho and so forth and everything. They have a lot of those movies over on there. So
I need this so badly.
Get or believe me, if I had the means, I would figure out a way to let you onto my account.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So, well, folks, just a few quick updates on things. Later this evening, over on Nobody Geeks Let's Talk, we're actually going to be having our 200 subscriber celebration. We're going to do our watch party of Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan, and that'll be at 5:30 Central Time. And now, I was originally going to be there for the whole thing, but I found out today I'm getting bumped up. I got bumped up to full time at my job, so me and Madam Ambassador are going to go out and celebrate. But I suggest anything for all of you. I was originally going to be on this panel, but again, something else has come up. Later tonight, over on Orange Hat Reviews and everything channel, he's going to be discussing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So if you are a Harry Potter fan, I suggest you go over and check out his stream and everything on that. And that'll be at 8 o'clock, I think, Central Time. Yeah, because he's Eastern Time. That'll be 8 o'clock Central Time, 9. Yeah, I think that's about right. So be sure to check that out if you're a Harry Potter fan. And then tomorrow night over here on my channel and this is actually, I made a misnomer on my announcement. Come on, think, brain, work. At 6:30, tomorrow night on my channel, going to be having another installment of the Ambassadorial Wing, and going to be covering a different topic. We're going to be talking about why Christians love pop culture. So be sure to tune in for that and everything if that sounds like something you'd be interested in.
If I have time, I will check it out. I will hang on,
Excellent. And then next week, as promised, we will be having I'll be having my 300 subscriber celebration. We'll be doing our 90s karaoke music night. We'll have some discussion about the great bands from the 1990s and everything. And right now I'm at 313 subscribers, so I'm just pedaling all along. So thank you all for your support. I greatly appreciate it. So
awesome.
Y'all have a great day. I will see you later tonight, and then hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a great day, and until next time.
Same to you.
This is the Ambassadors. No, it's okay, Gitter. Until next time, this is the Ambassadors signing off.